Welcome back. Here on KTN News, you're watching Worldview. Many thanks for staying with us. At this point, we will now take a look at stories that have been given priority on the international papers today. And joining me in studio to help us take a look at that is Trix Ingado. A very good morning to you, my dear.
Good morning, Akisa. So we're starting off as usual with the Washington Post, and the chaos in Charlotte is the heading story. So it's a developing story. This follows shooting of two black men. So here the first one was a guy called Terence Krishna, then yet another one in Charlotte. The first one was in Oklahoma. So you can see from the images on this paper how massive this protest is. And the unfortunate thing that's coming out of it is now a man was shot during the protest. So this is the third guy being shot. We're not sure if it was a civilian who shot him or the police. But of course, they're having various pictures just showing us the kinds of placards. Like here we're having a placard that's saying stop the killing and justice for black lives, and just showing how this is becoming an increasing problem in the sunset moments of the Obama administration. A lot of Americans were hoping that with the Obama being a black president, it would put an end to the racial tensions in the US, but of course clearly it has somehow made it even worse. So this heading story is just showing the grievances of these people. There has been a lot of looting, there has been a lot of destruction of properties on the streets of Charlotte, and of course this is a developing story, so let's see what comes up in the next days as of course people protest and try to get their voices heard. The interesting story, the different thing about this protest from the Oklahoma peaceful protest as called for from the family of Crutcher. This here the tape has not been released, so there is no clear indication to people of what actually went down, what happened. Was he armed? Was he unarmed? There are very conflicting stories. Some people are saying that this guy is gravely injured. The police are saying that. At first they're saying he has died. So people are just asking for the truth on that racial debacle, and they just want to know what's going on. I think what's working for Oklahoma is the openness, and the police said they understand the need for protest as long as it's done peacefully, and they came out with the tapes. They said this is what happened. They showed actually the policeman Shelby was actually suspended for what she did, and Trump has for once condemned the shooting in Oklahoma. And he said this woman choked. I don't know according to him, he watched the tape like everyone else, the footage that was from the body cam, and he has actually agreed that what happened was not right, and this woman whatever she did was wrong, and justice is needed. So this is what's happening on the first story. Let's scroll down and see if there are any other different stories. So here we're having signs of panic and rebellion in the heart of Islamic State's self-proclaimed caliphate. So ISIS has been carrying out mass arrests in Mosul as it faces the prospect of losing the largest city it controls, which is of course Aleppo. So we're having them having inward squabbles over their leadership and who is loyal and who is not. And of course they're being bombarded by the US and the Russians and the Assad regime. So we'll see what happens on that front. Maybe they might do themselves in, or maybe this other countries that are actually battling rebels on the ground might do them in. We'll have to see. The Washington Post will keep us updated on that story. And down here we're having the campaign, 2016 campaign. They're keeping us up to date with what's happening. And here we're having the top story on the political front with Clinton makes the unusual push to win over the disabled people and their families. So Hillary Clinton has enjoyed support from women and from minority groups like Hispanics and blacks, but clearly it's not really enough. So that's why you're having Donald Trump closing in terms of the poll numbers. So right here we're having her trying to appeal to a more a different demographic that no one has actually throughout this campaign. I haven't heard a candidate who's been big on the disabled. So her appeal to the disabled and their families is part of a broader effort after weeks mostly attacking Republican Donald Trump to win over voters with specific policy prescriptions, show a more compassionate side and a present in affirmation. And of course, Donald Trump has also changed his rhetoric. He has been trying to campaign in churches, black churches, and appeal to blacks. But some critics say this is just a way of him trying to show his fellow whites that he's not that racist. He
is, but not a lot.
Not that racist. You see, I'm even talking talking to blacks. So I think he's just trying to win over more because his major support base is among white
whites,
men, and men particularly. So Clinton has actually clenched a lot of the female white support, being herself a female white American. Then you're having lawmakers slamming the Mylan CEO's 18 million salary amid questions about EpiPen profits. So EpiPen is a drug that is used by people with allergies, especially the really severe ones that you can just get injected and be okay in a few minutes. But the huge issue with this is that they raise the price of this drug that a lot of people in America depend on. So there was a lot of criticism on that front, and of course it has now boiled down to the salary of the CEO of the company that comes up with this. And clearly he's making $18 million. I mean, I want his life.
I know.
That's a lot of money. Exactly. So so of course this they have to be open about why they're raising this the prices of this drug that is crucial to a lot of people's survival. And then we're having, as Clemson reaps a football windfall, others say don't expect similar results. So just a story on the U.S. football. I don't know if many Kenyans are interested in U.S. football, but if you are, and
in 70 Kenyans probably one.
Yes, probably. And I know, in understanding it, why is it not called rugby? You know, it's literally the same thing to our eyes.
Why is it called football?
Football, I mean, and they don't even use their feet. It's a whole other. I think we need a whole package story.
This is not our lane. This is certainly not our lane.
Let's move on to the New Delhi Times and see 5 acts tie the most Latin Grammy tie for most Latin Grammy nominations. So apparently we have Latin Grammys, and we're having the winners and the losers on that front. So if you want to know what's going on right there, that's the paper to read. And then we are having some story on Obama, and I think that's his meeting with the Israel
Prime Minister Benjamin
Netanyahu. Some more stories on just what's happening across the globe. It's very fine print, so I can't really read what's going on. And of course, a story on the bombing of the Islamic State that's unleashing some ripple effects, and with a surge of something in China to do with Muslim women. So if you want to know more about what's happening around the world, especially in Asia, but at the same time with the rest of the world, they also cover the U.S. politics, what's happening in Syria, which is quite sad at the moment.
New Delhi is actually very dynamic. When you hear about New Delhi, you expect the top story to be something to do with India,
Gujarati, but still they're they're very well rounded. For example, the Latin awards, that's not something you'd expect. But this is a paper, I think it's not given as much credit as it deserves in terms of covering world news. But as you can see,
we are giving it credit now.
Right now, exactly. So let's move on to the next paper, which is the Mail Online. I am suspecting something to do with Angelina Jolie. I don't know if that's moved off.
Suspecting we've already read this.
No, I have not. So let's take a look at the next paper, which is the Mail Online, and see what's happening. See, it's not. Oh yeah, actually they're still on the headlines. So Marion
for the next 70 days
has revealed that she is pregnant with her second child, and finally breaks her silence to deny an affair with Brad Pitt and to wish him and Angelina peace in their every tumultuous moment. So just it's like a follow-up to the whole debate. Angelina Jolie has asked for a divorce from Brad Pitt. Everyone's covering it from CNN to BBC to RT and Al Jazeera. This is huge news right now. And of course, this is the woman who is suspected to have done the damage, but we don't really know. According to some sources, they says apparently she had a problem with his copious marijuana intake. Apparently, which he had admitted that he had quit in 2014, but he started off when he was younger, when he was a young actress, just getting into Hollywood. I don't know if that's one of the reasons why she said he's not a good dad. She also complains about his drinking, and of course, maybe this lady might have been a reason to behind the brain. We don't know. So
I'm not going to help you with that.
Let's not speculate. But the U.S. arrest protest exploded in violent state of emergency has been declared in Charlotte as demonstrators left on life support, and 7 cops are injured in violent process over the fatal shooting of a police shooting of a disabled black man. So they have new information right here as opposed to the Washington Post. The man apparently was disabled. 12 police officers have been injured, and one of the protesters is now on life support. So it's not really it's like just giving off the effects of this thing, the shooting of the one black man is just resulting in more and more injuries, more damage, more, you know, it's not looking pretty in Charlotte, as opposed to Oklahoma. That is actually the family of the slain man said they want people to respect the traditions of that family, and as much as they want them to protest, they have to do it peacefully. So I think people respected their wishes in that on that front. So let's move on to the China Daily, and we are having something on Zuma. South Africa has pledged to give sustainable development. That was the same story that was there yesterday. And then China's service outsourcing continues.
Same thing.
Still the same thing. We are hoping for more. Then Kremlin says hope for restoring truce in Syria is weak. So Russia has been a big player in the fight against rebels in the Syrian on the grounds in Syria, and of course, you know, all parties are trying to figure out if they can find peace for the sake of those involved, and you know, the people who are being on the receiving end of this war. So Kremlin is saying that the hope for getting a new truce that was broken, the 10-day truce was actually broken when people started fighting in the middle of the truce, the 10-day truce. So it's looking grim in terms of whether they will go back to the truce or whether they'll find another way of getting sustainable peace. This is a 10-day period, but the bigger picture is that they actually need to find peace for a long time, a political solution to this war that's happening in Syria. So I guess that's what this paper is just trying to dig into. That's all I think we have, because the China Daily is giving us the same stuff they gave us yesterday. But of course, that happens sometimes in some of these papers.
All right, thank you very much for that. Trix Ngado there helping us take a look at the stories that have been given priority or making headlines on the international papers. And we just closed that chapter for the papers that we've just taken a look at. Now, Trix, let's take a look at our top story this hour. Deputy President William Ruto hit out at the international community